Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and welcome to those of us joining us on YouTube as well. We're glad to see you here. If we haven't met already, my name is Morgan Ringelspaugh. I use they, them pronouns. I've got a couple of announcements for us to go over. These are in your order of service, or you can also find them in our newsletter, online, in a myriad of places. So we do have adult religious exploration class going on right now. Christian Roots, Growing Branches is going to be on Tuesday, December 21st from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Zoom. It is open to anyone who wishes to join, and it's led by Reverend Carol. The Zoom link is in your newsletter. We are also going to have a Christmas Eve service this year. Of course, that's going to be December 24th here at Westside. We're going to have outdoor caroling, cocoa, and cookies from 4 to 5 p.m. Please bring cookies to share if you would like. We will provide the hot cocoa. At 5 p.m., we will then come inside for an indoor candlelight service. We do have the Westside Second Monday Lunch. Everyone is welcome to attend. The next lunch will be at 11:30 on Monday, January 10th. So that is a little bit of a ways out. Mark it on your calendars. Again, that's going to be January 10th at 11:30, and that's going to be at Firebirds, Wood-Fired Grill on Kingston Pike. The information for that is in your order of service. You can contact Judy Burgett or Diane Gray. Their contact information is there, or you can look online on our directory. The book club will not meet this December due to the holidays. We will read 2 books over the holidays and then meet again on Saturday, January 22nd. So that gives you some time to get through these. That will be at 10 a.m. through Zoom. There are 2 books. We've got a nonfiction, Islands of Abandonment, Nature Rebounding in the Post-Human Landscape by Cal Flynn, and The Shaman Sings by James D. Doss. The Zoom link will be in the newsletter, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Finally, we do need greeters and safety volunteers here indoor. Westside has always had a group of cheerful, friendly people willing to welcome members, friends, and visitors to our services and keep us safe. Now that we have reopened, we need those friendly people to sign up to be greeters or safety volunteers again. If interested, please see Alice and Jerry Thornton for more information. They also have their contact information online on the directory or in your order of service. As we start our service today, we do have our choir coming up to sing a wonderful song, People Look East.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all on this special day. If I have not yet met you, or if you're visiting us for the first time on our virtual service, welcome. I am Reverend Carol Bedeau. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm privileged to serve as minister here. Solstice is actually a very special day, a very special time of year. We're celebrating the winter solstice, which happens on Tuesday. So we're celebrating it a little early. It is the time of the darkest night, and it's been celebrated by people for millennia. In the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time when we invite the sun back into the world, which has been getting increasingly dark for the last many weeks. So, as I invite our bowl to sound this morning, I invite you to settle in. This is a time of stillness. The idea of the winter solstice is that it's a time of stillness and waiting. So, take a couple deep breaths. Leave behind what is outside, particularly Turkey Creek and all the holiday preparations. Let that all go for just this little bit of time. I invite you to still your heart, open your heart. Today we'll be considering where we put our attention, how we focus our minds and hearts. So let's begin by just finding a moment of quiet.
This morning's Chalice Lighting comes from the Unitarian Universalist Association's webpage for Words of Worship. It's entitled In Time of Cold, We Seek the Warming Fire by Brian Keeley. Lit candles held in a row of cupped hands. In times of darkness, we stumble towards the tiny flame. In times of cold, we seek the warming fire. In times of repression, we reach for the lamp of truth. In times of loss, we pray for the comforting light. In times of joy, we light a candle of celebration. Spirit of life, as we kindle this light, help us find what we need this day.
I'm going to ask Morgan to light our 2 side candles today. These are our community candles. Let us first remember all those who are struggling because of oppression today. Let us think about those in the world who perhaps don't have the same privileges we might have, and remember that we can be agents of change where there is oppression. And let us also remember those who are struggling with physical need, emotional health, physical health concerns, or simply loneliness at a time of year when there's so much emphasis put on community and family. Let us just take a moment to remember that even as we're celebrating, to send a little bit of love and light from our hearts and this community to those who might be experiencing some darkness, including those of us in this community and the parts of our lives in our community where there's darkness. So that opening song that the choir sang, People Look East, was originally published in 1928 by a writer named Eleanor Farjeon. It's actually a rewriting of an older French carol that's called Bensanson. And that song is basically an Advent song. It starts out saying, "Shepherd, shake off your drowsy sleep." And this song is really designed for Advent, which is the preparation for Christmas. But what I actually love about People Look East is a song that we use for our winter solstice celebration because it mingles so many of the traditions of the earlier earth-based holidays in with the Christian imagery. And in fact, actually, the Christian Advent season, many of the images that are used come from the older earth-based traditions. So the winter solstice is really an earth-based holiday, right? The song that we just sang is explicitly called a Christian Advent song, and it's explicitly meant to help us watch and wait for the coming of the Christ child, the Savior. But the song, if you listen to the words, implicitly invokes older traditions that predate the Christian world. Its images draw our attention to things like the rising of the sun in the east, furrows, the bare earth waiting for seeds to be planted. Other verses include the dark bowl of the winter sky filled to the brim with lights of stars. So in both traditions, the pre-Christian and the Christian tradition, this is a time of waiting. It's a time of expectation, which of course is true in our secular modern world too, right? It's a time of expectation and waiting. So there's a lot of expectations right now, and many of those expectations right now are not necessarily pleasant. Some of them are very pleasant, but I know that for me, sometimes the wonder and hopefulness of expecting and longing for something can turn very subtly but quickly into pressure, stress, performance anxiety, overdoing, right? Often rather than times of waiting and expectation being times of gentle surrender, peacefulness, and being still, they turn into times of hustle and bustle and overdoing and over-worrying and over-planning, right? So the ritual that we do for our solstice spiral, and I just want to give a shout out to Wendy Weiss, who brought this service to us. This ritual invites us to do something different. It invites us to turn back towards a more quiet and gentle kind of slowing down. It's actually a way of surrendering to waiting. Now, how many of us get really uncomfortable waiting? How many of us just feel really antsy when we're waiting? How many of us turn that discomfort into any action, pick any action that offers distraction, right? We're going to clean a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit more. We're going to bustle a little bit more. We're going to plan. We're going to make another list, whatever it is, right? Sitting in a waiting room. We got to read the magazine. We get antsy. We get irritable, right? How many times do we turn waiting into a time of discomfort? So, one of the challenges of this time of year is that while we really are waiting for something, perhaps time off work, we're waiting for time off work or time with friends, connection with people we love that we haven't seen. Perhaps we're waiting for some sacred presence that is drawing near to us in our religious tradition. Whatever it is we're waiting and expecting, magic, peace, joy, hope, usually we're not very good at being patient while we're waiting. So we hustle and we bustle and we fill the time. Today we're going to do something different. As we honor the darkest time of year, the time when the earth is bare and waiting, there's nothing the earth can do to hurry things along. There's nothing we can really do to hurry along the change of seasons, right? When the earth is bare and the sun is hidden for much of the day, we have the opportunity to just practice waiting quietly, patiently, allowing ourselves to feel soothed rather than anxious in that stillness. This ritual is not about performance. It's about simply being present with the simple acts of walking, listening, reflecting quietly, and sitting quietly and waiting while others do the same. It's an invitation to turn inward rather than outward, while we anticipate something that has not yet happened. So we're going to be taking our time this year to really settle into this stillness and calm and receive it as a gift of rest amidst all the stress and hustle and bustle and perhaps worry or anxiety or sadness that might come with this season. Now, if you happen to be with us virtually, I want to invite you in the next few moments to go and find a candle that you can light while we're lighting candles here. Go and find yourself a candle so that you can also sit. Maybe dim the lights in your space so that we can prepare together for a very calm, quiet time. Each week, one of the gifts that we take and share with each other is the gift of support for this community and the congregation. We share some of our gifts each week as well. So as we take the offering, I invite you to give as you are able, but also receive the wonderful gift of music that Chris is going to share with us.
In a moment, we will come one by one to walk our labyrinth. In times of COVID precautions and social distancing, it is a little bit different this year. If you will make your way around the back, or if you want to come across the front, that's fine. We're going to line up over here next to the basket where you can grab your apple with a candle inside it. I will be right down here to help light your candle. You'll enter over here closest to the front of the sanctuary and walk through, and then we have an exit towards the back that you'll find your way to. This way we maintain social distance and we aren't passing one another. I invite you to take this time for reflection and contemplation. For those of us at home or who may choose to remain seated, feel the way your body sits in your seat. Take a moment to really touch and get in tune with your body. If we're walking the labyrinth, take a moment to connect with your body as you walk. I encourage everyone to connect with your spirit, soul, mind, that inner peace inside us all as you turn inward, and to feel supported by the community surrounding us in person and in spirit.
And this year, as we walk the spiral, we're going to be leaving our lights as we go through the labyrinth. So in the past, you've lit your candle in the center. This year, Morgan's going to go ahead and go in and light the center candle in the labyrinth. And as you go through the labyrinth, you will actually leave your candle somewhere along the path as you go through. A little bit different symbols this year. You'll see that Morgan is walking past a number of plates. Those are the places to leave those lit apples as you go through. A few days ago, the choir and I had a conversation about the difference between a labyrinth and a spiral. Though we call this ritual a spiral, we have actually just moved through a more classical labyrinth, which twists and turns back upon itself more than just a simple spiraling circle would do. But the essence of spiraling, when we use it as a verb, as an action, or as a practice, is still essentially the same. We move around and around and around and around a center point. That center point is held within a wider circle, and we are taking a journey that is not linear. It is somewhat predictable, but always has unexpected twists and turns. Things happen that we don't expect. Sometimes the path curves in ways we didn't see coming. Ultimately, ideally, such a journey brings us to something in the middle, a point of coalescence, a point of clarity, a point of stillness before going back out again. May this ritual be a kinesthetic experience of that in your day, in your week, in this season, and in your life. Let us remember that we can metaphorically circle in to our own center point while held within the wider circle of community. There we might find peace, we might find stillness, we might find a moment of patient, quiet waiting before going back out again into the world. Today, I will extinguish the chalice, but we will leave burning the lights which you have placed in the spiral as a symbol that our lights are held in this community, that this is a place where we can find rest and stillness, and also renew our light for going back out into the world. Go in peace, peace that comes from within, to share it with the world. May it be so.